The president has attacked the move to remove Confederate statues across the country. He said that it was an assault on, quote, our heritage. What does the White House and the president say to Americans who find it offensive to glorify people who owned other Americans, including enslaved African Americans?
So I would note on statues that what we're seeing across the country is really quite confusing, because you're seeing statues defaced, like Gandhi's statue defaced and Ulysses S. Grant's statues defaced, and abolitionist Matthias Baldwin's statue defaced. At the same time, we're being told that George Washington's statue needs to come down and Thomas Jefferson's statue needs to come down. Where do you draw the line, from Gandhi all the way to George Washington? And it seems the American people very much agree with the president on this, on not bringing down these statues. Less than a third of those polled, according to Morning Consult, think these statues should be taken down. 61% oppose it, according to Marist. 62% according to Marist. So I would point that out, and I would say that when people watch these statue defacements and the beheading of some of these statues like Christopher Columbus, where do you draw the line? Because apparently the line goes all the way to Gandhi.
The left-wing anarchists tore down a statue of Thomas Jefferson. Now we're getting into the real stuff. They decapitated a statue of Christopher Columbus, except in New York when the Italians surrounded it. They didn't have too much of a chance. Those Italians, I love the Italians. They heard they were going to rip down their beautiful Christopher Columbus, and all of a sudden they circled that thing. They didn't do too well in hurting Christopher, did they? Thank you to our Italian population. We're very proud of you, right? 2 days ago, leftist radicals in Portland, Oregon, ripped down a statue of George Washington and wrapped it in an American flag and set the American flag on fire. Democrat, all Democrat. Everything I tell you is Democrat. And we ought to do something, Mr. Senators. We have two great senators. We ought to come up with legislation that if you burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. 1 year. Jim and James. We ought to do it. They talk about freedom of speech, and I'm a big believer in freedom of speech, but that's desecration. That's a terrible thing they do. We used to have things. We don't have them anymore because we want to be so open, so everything, and look what happens. We should have legislation that if somebody wants to burn the American flag and stomp on it, but just burn it, they go to jail for 1 year, okay? In Seattle, the Democrat mayor and the Democrat city council have surrendered control of 6 city blocks to an anarchist map. These are anarchists. These are not protesters. You listen to the fake news, they say, oh, the protesters were lovely. Could you imagine if people just even slightly to the right tried to take over Seattle? They'd have machine guns out to get them. But these people can take over the city. Look at what they've done to business people that have spent years and years building their business, and now they're wiped out, taken away. Governor Inslee ought to get his act together, get in there. I'll help you. I'll do whatever you want. I'm waiting for a call. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. It'll take less than an hour, and it'll all be over with, and you'll have your city back.